Okay, theoretically, we're live.
We don't have these very often, so I'm going to try to run the first part of it. Tim, is that correct? So we'll go ahead and call the Carroll County Administrative Transportation Committee meeting to order. You get the packet?
Yep.
Okay. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from previous meetings. Which don't believe we have skip that and go directly to item 2, which is traffic counts. What do
Yeah,
for you?
taking that. Okay. So,
Oh, I'm good. Got it right here.
if I can pass all the minutes. So in your packet, there should be a map and spreadsheet of the traffic count data. So this is all the data that we counted this year. I guess I tried to look at the data and see if there's anything interesting or unique this year, but it was all pretty much just as expected. The numbers were all about what we thought they would be. They weren't really all that special. The biggest updates we have this year are that I've improved our process internally. So if you look at the spreadsheet, you'll see we have all sorts of columns of like speed data and other stuff that previously we did kind of on request, but now we can include that in our regular process. So we don't have to spend more time getting that data. It's just, more efficient. So, so we have that for basically every station now, more data. Other than that, I've also made for next year some improvements to the station counting. So I removed some duplicate stations and near duplicate stations. So we'll have less duplication in the data, less overlap with INDOT. So just small improvements, but good improvements overall.
What does AAGT stand for?
Yes, so that is adjusted annual daily traffic.
Okay.
So basically we take the traffic counts over a 48-hour period. We have the tubes out, we have at least 48 hours they stay out. And then we average that data for like a 1 day period. And then depending on the day, the month, and the kind of road that we took the count on, we'll apply statistics to annualize that across like the whole year. So these numbers are about the average you'd have on any day of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
When is the next count?
We'll do those next year after April.
Should be interesting to see what we have now in the expressway and traffic. So we don't have a full connection yet as a permanent connection, but once that's in place, that might if we see issues, we'll put it on there sooner than later. Or if you get, that's not going to be until next year or something.
Okay. We'll have time
At
to.
our meeting next year, which will be February. Have like a formal decision on where exactly we're going to count. So typically, of course, we do it on kind of a rotation. 3 years, we get most of the same counts. But there are some of these that are kind of in reaching parts of the county that maybe realistically wouldn't change too much. We could, a few of those to get some, maybe the areas that might be impacted.
I thought we changed one to Riley Meadows this year to do.
I think we did around the apartments we're going in.
That's Front Street here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Riley Meadows is where our new subdivision's going.
Yeah, we definitely adjust some. If you look at the map,
I don't see anything on Riley Meadows. At least not using those words, and I wouldn't know any of the county was from there by heart.
if you're printing out an earlier version of the agenda, the map may not be in there.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have it?
If you were ahead of the game, I only updated it today, sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Here,
If you sent it, I probably didn't get
it's
it.
all.
So can you maybe kind of just give us a ballpark of where we'd be looking in the county, like north, south, east, west?
It's just right down the road. So it's in the city limits,
But I guess he's reading on the map. It's
See, these are all the ones we have.
So this road right here
Oh, okay.
is the current. And then our entrance off of, our entrance will go in here, our permanent, but that's not gonna be till. Sure. I thought we did current counts.
We have an old count, I think, on Riley Road,
Okay.
but between these three, like, we can effectively figure out
Sure.
the traffic on here.
And there's gonna be another entrance off the subdivision that's gonna take all that 46 homes to Riley Meadows to Park. So,
Yeah, I think we captured that data with these three stations instead of just doing one Riley. It's the intent this time.
Yep.
See how people were getting there.
sure. Be interesting to see once we start doing those again, how it changes.
We'll send out a proposed count station location thing in January. It's the February meeting, so that you and then the street department and law enforcement can offer suggestions for the February meeting.
Yeah.
And we'll even have a little time after that. These till things are still a little bit in flux, which of course, you guys know, can happen with projects. Certainly, we do have a little. Like, you know, if I got a deadline, we need to finalize the locations.
Yeah, so I think that's all on traffic counts this year. Yeah, I mean, a couple stations feel like the speed data, there's some speeding problems probably on some of these roads. But, there was nothing that seemed super egregious. Some of these are like 77 miles per hour,
Mm-hmm.
east 100 north.
Oh, I thought that was gonna be on. Sure.
Yeah, no, it looks like a lot of the
I
high
wish I was
speeds wrong. And the speed 85th, that's the 85th percentile of speeds, so 85% of vehicles are under that number.
Okay.
Okay,
That's what that means.
got it.
Is this the same software that we use, NDOT uses? Cameras and all that?
Oh, no, so that's, the traffic counting is separate to
Okay.
the data, yeah,
What's the PCT?
percent,
Okay.
yeah. Variation,
Got it.
yeah, because I know the percentage of truck traffic has been an important concern around here, especially downtown, so I include that column, just so you can see
Mhm.
on all roads what the percentage of truck traffic there is.
Mainly from, East Main to the canal, and I reached out to the owner of the industrial area out there, expressing our concerns of we have a lot that's happening in the city that's getting ready to happen here in October. We do not need additional truck. He sent it out as a dispatch to all of his logistic companies, and it's been you guys agree, have you seen less traffic? I mean, you'll still see them,
Mhm.
but if some days that they were stacked up and the lights were jammed up and all, so it's been a big improvement so far, and keep working on it, but GPS takes you where it takes you.
Yes, that's always the,
Harvest coming up, will be a lot more.
Okay, you have anything else with traffic cams?
not for the counts.
Okay.
I think the next item on this, let's see. Traffic count purchases, which we don't have an attachment for. So, some background on this, we have traffic counters we purchase. They're little tube counters, we set them out. And each week, we have our contractor set out, 10 or 11 of them. And, it takes us 6-7 weeks to get all the traffic count data in. This year we had, I think it was like 5 counters fail or get incorrect data or, not get data at all. And that's a lot. Usually just 1 or 2 have problems, but, 5, like, we have extras, but we don't have that many extra counters to replace ones that don't work. So,
Who purchases those? This board or does the area, Tippecanoe County area?
so they're part of the grant.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, as part of the work for this.
Right.
So,
So we pay for NDOT pays for 80% of it. And
Yes.
then pay, okay.
yeah, but a lot of the counters are 10 years or older now, like they're,
Yeah, a lot of wheels over them.
yes, they've done a good job for a long time, but we need to keep updating our inventory of them to, not have to spend more time and consultant hours on this, so.
Okay.
We'd like to do more updating of those as part of the grant, I think.
Mhm.
So our plan is we've already put in for the current fiscal year's grant, because that happens every January, February. So we're kind of locked into the budget for that. So we'll maybe be able to purchase a couple counters with the funds we have for this year's grant. But next year, then we'd like to kick that part of the grant up a little bit to replenish some of the stockpiles. I think we should probably have enough counters to get through this county season. And if we have another situation where we lose 4 or 5 more, then
Yeah.
Then you take a couple extras, you think?
yes, so that's part of it. The stock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna have some further discussions about some numbers closer to when that. So we'll be in touch about that. But we just kind of wanted to now when we were talking.
Yeah.
Discuss, so you guys could know.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, anything else on the purchase of the counters?
Not from us.
No. So we're now the merging of the admin and tech committee, and I believe that's gonna be Tim.
Yes. So that, I guess I should probably give a little bit of background on this. So the work that we do for you guys is primarily paid for through an INDOT grant. And when we started doing this work, we set up the committee structure is similar to what we use typically in county. Committee meets and then would make recommendations and such. Policy committee, which is the elected officials, just you guys. And for a while, things were going okay with that. Fortunately, it's been a little bit difficult to get quorums here at this meeting. So we've had problems really taking official actions in this committee. So we kind of kicked around some ideas of what to do about this. We talked to the Federal Highway Administration about the transportation planning regulations. What we kind of found is because aren't an official, you aren't large enough to have an official metropolitan planning organization like you in Tippecanoe County, you aren't necessarily subject to the same restrictions, regulations that we would be. So one idea that we floated to them was, well, would it be okay to kind of combine these two committees into one? That way, you know, we could have it in the same room together, save a little bit of time for people, solve a little bit of time. We just being honest. One meeting every quarter is not two. So we brought that up at our previous meeting. Their preference was to meet at the same time, so third Thursday of the month, which is their normal time. So we would essentially be moving you guys up. So there are a few here to discuss this, but do you think that would be okay? I kind of purchase.
I've said these through my other season area plan too, and it's an issue for 4 years through that position, so.
No matter what.
Yeah, I mean, so I think this is a great idea, just to get business items through and to get them in schedules. I think it's great for people to all be in the meeting at once, and you guys got busy schedules, everybody works, so one meeting I think is better than. So that's my 2 cents.
So then what we'll do then is we'll plan November meetings on combining the two committees into one. So we'd meet at 2:00. Decide then how many we would need officials or 4. So it'd be one consideration. Because right now, it's not necessarily a simple majority. There are enough positions. They would need 7 attendees for a majority set out of 12. So they have made their quorum 5.
Okay.
So if you were to kind of combine the two committees, we might, assuming we still kind of get some of the same people that we've been getting. 7.
Right,
So 5.
between the two, right? Yeah. that makes sense.
Huge to see 7 people in this.
It would be.
It's a stepping stone. You have to like try pizza.
Yes, let's do it.
Everybody already had lunch at noon, but we'll figure something. Try a different route.
So because that will be a little bit of a, we'll send out on your reminders and so just so you understand that switching from this system to a new one, it's always hard. It's the first time you do it, and once it becomes fun, it's a bit.
Yeah.
That was kind of our idea. We wanted just to like.
I think it's smart.
Sounds like you have some buy-ins. We do appreciate that. Like I said, we'll be. See something else. Probably a lot of them will come from Jennifer. Typically sits up. Maybe 1 or 2 would be. Get it.
If she will send me the tech committees members,
Oh, the roster.
yes, because I emailed several of those people throughout the week. We'll put out. Don't forget this again about. I don't remember who's between now. Just reminders.
Never have too many.
Agreed.
From my end, I'm never upset. So, oh, did you hear about this meeting? It's like, well, I already did, but sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so one time you don't, and you're glad that they said.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for merging administrative and tech committees? Okay, next item is roads layer.
Okay, so this one, we don't have attachments. So I do the traffic counting stuff. I do some crash data work for Carroll County. And a lot of what I do for that involves using your road data. Like the JS data for roads. And it hasn't ever been great. And I've worked around it, but as I've been making these improvements to our system, I'm running into, oh, this road doesn't even exist at all.
What?
And it's just never been mapped. The roads are 10 years out of date. They've completely moved. It's not good.
So hopefully Donnie, we had something that come up recently. Hopefully Donnie updated you on that.
I haven't heard, I think, recently.
Well, not recently,
I
but
did mention that
Yeah.
last.
yeah, about the
the
CCMG grants and finding out that, oh, it's not even our image. Yep, now you start over. So,
give us a contact person who's going to give us.
okay.
Lauren, I believe was her name.
Yes, Lauren Crispo. Lauren Duff. Okay, she's our deputy assessor that's in charge of our, she's very good at what she does, but she's just never been given the data, and now we know the data's never been. So I think what had happened was we lost a superintendent, 3 superintendents prior to Donnie. It's our belief that maybe the old stack of GI, right of ways and all that, that was old printed. Remember the old paper that had the old printer
Yeah.
paper? It was about that thick. It was never discovered when I was a area plan because we got a lot of questions. Right of ways on it, no one is never on a drive, never saved. So I think essentially Donnie's going to start over from scratch.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know how it because it's going to be a lot of surveying, or I think he has a good handle. So
Okay.
however he does it, the highway department, and yeah, he's a huge asset to it because he's already getting the things that we've talked about in several meetings.
Okay.
But that was one thing that we always dealt with was the layers. And we click on road layer and it's not highlighting green. I'm like, no, wait a minute. So yeah, but yeah, Lauren Duff, she is very good. Anything else on roads layer?
That's it for me.
I was about an 18-month NDOT letting list.
So we actually don't have any current three projects. So two on state on 29, and one is a small structural maintenance repairs. Two of them actually. Other state on 29 is a pavement. So that's it actually for this fiscal year, because for July of 2020. And I would also, however, direct your attention to the bottom three projects. So starting bottom, there's two that were originally planned to be let in this fiscal year. October. Those have passed out of the 18-month letting window. Probably means is that they will be let 18-month time frame that this captures. Kind of what we've seen is that because of projects, even the state DOT is not immune to those impacts. To look at rebalance their finances, moved out groups of projects within different districts, especially for bridge projects, which they often try to bundle together to be a little bit of cost savings. Sometimes when you move one of those, you have to move several to maintain those cost savings. So my guess would be that that's what happened with those projects. Fortunately, don't necessarily have a dot up here. That's wish they were a little more about attending so they can choose questions, but
Could you,
Any,
Council, Debbie, explain what the letting means and the language?
I looked it up,
See, okay,
but go ahead.
because it can be a little bit confusing, why you wait on that?
Yeah, exactly.
so a letting date is just the day that they are allowed to start. So that's when they can get in there and start getting the construction. So prior to that, there are several steps they have to go through. State or federal funding. To go through before they can get to that point. So,
Doesn't change it, bid letting.
Then at that point is done, and engineering and vertical. So many things that happen prior to a project, especially a bridge in counties like Carroll County, because of the Indian nations that were here, they had to do artifacts, it's an impressive search in history that they do for every single bridge that had any kind of Indian trace or heritage that was in the area. So they send out, which, if you don't mind, this is one of every homeowner in the area, if you're an affected property for a project, you'll get what's public notice.
Mhm.
This one happens to be one that we got for, not on this list, I don't believe, for the project that's coming up for Old State Road 25 over Deer Creek. It's the 200, 1800, 104, I don't see. Yeah, that one's not on here. No, it's been bounced around so many times.
Oh, yeah, it's the first in.
Okay, yeah. So that's, to this point, I guess they're moving along. I got a thanks from Hanson, which is our contracted engineering firm for several things they're doing for that project. I believe they're in the process of practice. So still some work to do prior to the letting and all that, but that project changed, of course, with the tunnel underneath and all that. Otherwise, that probably would have been blocked off. You guys would have had it. So, but kudos to NDOT for being open to what the city proposed last year or 2 years. So that struck me as being, you don't see that at NDOT. They are always willing to work with communities. That was a huge hey, can we do this? And they're like, oh, we'll go look at it. And they agreed to it. And again, with costs and everything going up, that was a big step for them to be team partners on this. And that's gonna cause an issue, not an issue, but that's a busy road for the city with dump trucks. It's right off the Cape, or right off the Hoosier Heartland. So once we get closer to that, we'll have to figure out, you know, the traffic that we're gonna have going everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's traffic.
So.
So,
All right. So I think I interrupted you, so sorry.
that's fine. But I was just actually gonna mention, that was the last project I was gonna mention, because that is listed as a new project. It's only new from the perspective that it's got within the 18 time. It's December of 2020.
Okay. And the part to see if our internet's working.
It's so far so good. Yeah, public comments.
Yep.
So at this time, I have no comments on Facebook or YouTube, but we can give them a minute to let the stream catch up and see if there are any that come in. I will time that.
But we fill the time. I mentioned we do have one more meeting planned. So, like I said, we're planning on moving that. Thereafter, we will still continue with the quarterly. Five, but still.
So we'll have a couple more meetings prior to. Here's the thing.
All right, well, it's been a minute and I haven't seen any public comments. I guess just for the benefit of anybody watching, the last meeting had internet problems, so a lot of that wasn't streamed. I'll update or I'll upload what we have recorded of that meeting, but these two meetings are basically identical. So if anybody missed last meeting, this meeting has the same content, so
Change it.
yeah. Just for the benefit of the public, you didn't miss anything from the last meeting that we didn't cover here. So that's all we've got, I think.
No public comments, any other to be brought in front of the board?
Change to Washington. Now, the, who's responsible for
The road,
maintenance?
So that's a good question because it's got several, it's a historical bridge.
The capping on the top,
Uh-huh.
kids have broke all of it off, threw it in the water. Last year, I live right on the corner of that bridge. I'm taking walks. I noticed it's cracked bad. But I think before winter, the cap needs to put back on because water runs in the rock and freezes.
Yeah.
It's crack up.
I don't know if we can get something done that quick because
So
that's
it
the,
goes,
is it just concrete?
they rock.
Oh, okay.
Masonry rock.
So like our bridges for the city of Delphi and Carroll County, we contract out the inspections. Like the county uses an NDOT inspector and we most likely do too because we receive grants. And
I don't think it'd be a bad idea to have it inspected.
so with this would be a historical bridge and a lot of funding for it goes in by the historical society and all that. I'll reach out to that group because that's another concern with that is the truck traffic. Again, why we're trying to keep them from going across the
The 5 years,
beautiful bridge that is taking a beat.
Yeah.
5 years since I lived there, it's had a few small ones, but there's like half-inch inches
Okay,
down to it now.
okay,
Not a truck traffic but it has kids, I run them off every time. They break, it's been sealed with concrete on top. And it cracked, like chunks break off, they go in the water, whatever, but it's got probably a 6 foot span on it now, but the cap, it's all
Okay.
working on.
And I'll say something to Aaron too, if it's something we don't have to go through the several boards and all that to look for funds and all that, we can do it within our local roads and MVH funds to get it through before winter. Are they gonna start expanding?
I think it'd be a good idea. But I think, well, no.
Okay,
Thanks for mentioning it. This is why we appreciate y'all showing up, so you can share this info with us, so things fix.
I don't know, that bridge probably what, 150. I don't know how it would be, but it's probably.
and we have the boat to go. So, you know, I know there's regularly scheduled inspections, we have to, because the Indiana Transportation, they pay for my grant, our canal boat and all that, so obviously they want that to be safe when we have a boatload of people on it. So I would check that schedule and check kind of how the,
Bridge is
yeah,
ideal no matter
I
what.
guess, the maintenance, I guess, on that, see where. Okay, anything else from the board?
No.
Hearing none, I can't even make a motion to adjourn, so, all right. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank
All right, thank you.
Appreciate you guys' time as always.
Thank you guys for
Very
making
nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys.